2023 is now over, and this was a great year for not only movies, but also just true story movies. And I'm going to rank all 12 2023 true story movies from the worst to the best. And not necessarily where, like, 100% a biopic, but also where or no, it has to be kind of like in the vein of the true events. So, like, CB didn't actually happen, but I'm counting that. And coming in last place, we have About My Father. This is just like an okay comedy. I don't think it's bad. But, I mean, in terms of true story, it's about a comedian that I don't really know that much about, and about his father in real life, played by Robert De Niro, who, of course, is Robert De Niro, who's, I feel like he's in a lot of great comedies, but I don't really think this is one of his best. I think that it just kind of had a lot of problems. It just wasn't super funny, so it comes in last place. And coming in 11th place, we have Maestro. Now, to be fair, I think that the acting was very, very good in this movie. I thought the direction was pretty good. Like I said, the acting was fantastic. But I think the problem with this movie, at least for me, is like the actual plot about Leonard Bernstein. I'm not really super into music. And I will say the composing parts were beautiful, but I'm just not as interested in the story enough to really care. So that's why it comes in at 10. Or number 11, I should say. And coming in 10th place, we have 80 for Brady. This is just a simplistic comedy, which I didn't even really know was based on true story until I kind of looked it up, about like these like 4 old ladies who all really like Tom Brady, and then they went to the Super Bowl. But it's a funny movie. It's more of the gimmick itself of just like these old women who are really into football, which is obviously seen as super masculine. So that's the main joke. But it's honestly not that bad. Like, it's just your standard kind of comedy. And also Guy Fieri is in this movie as well. So I thought it was like, for a comedy like this, it's actually not that bad. And coming in 9th place, we have Champions. This is actually a pretty cute movie. I would actually say it's pretty good, where it's about this coach who, in order to get like, he was a professional basketball coach, but then he kind of gets like, does something to get fired. And then he instead has to coach a team of people with intellectual disabilities. And it's a cute movie. Also, Caitlin Olsen's in it from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Always great to see her. And this is a pretty cute movie. It's just more of this charming, kind of upbeat underdog story. Nothing really extremely original about it, but it's a pretty solid movie. And coming in 8th place, we have Cocaine Bear. And this is a movie that is it's a blast. It's just a movie where it's so stupid, but somehow it's just fun. Like, it has no emotional depth. It's really just a bear who's crazy, killing people in over-the-top gory fashion. And if you like that, then you like this movie, and I did like that. I thought that this was a blast, honestly. I thought this was just a ton of fun. And of course, it's in the real story, the bear died, but in this one, goes on a killing spree, and it's just a ton of fun to watch. What can I say? So yeah, I thought that this one was pretty fun. And coming in 7th place, we have Boston Strangler. I thought that this was a really good movie, as it's less about the Boston Stranglers himself, because in real life he was never found. No one actually knows who he is. It is more about the investigation and the people involved, as well as how our main lead, who's investigating it, how she gets so, like, it could almost be looked at as a metaphor for an addiction, where she gets so involved in trying to solve this story where her marriage kind of falls apart. Like, she doesn't even really focus on her child, and she's just so invested in her job and figuring out who this killer is, where she doesn't figure it out, and just like in real life. And it's more of a drama, but it also does give you that sense of horror, because in the beginning they show you the Boston Strangler like strangling somebody, but of course you don't see who it is. Like, you see it from their perspective, and it was a really solid film. And coming in 6th place, we have Napoleon, and this is a movie I wish I could put higher, but it's a movie where I don't know exactly what went wrong, because I think that this movie definitely has some great things going for it. I think that the acting is great. I think that the action is fantastic. It gives this grand scope of these beautiful, huge battles. But I don't know what it is about this movie. I've been thinking about it ever since I watched it, where I'm like, I liked it, but just something was missing, and I just don't know what it is. And like, I just don't know. It like the acting was great. I thought the action was awesome. But maybe it was just the central drama between him and his wife, Josephine, where it just wasn't as compelling. And this is a movie where, with the talent that is both behind the camera and in front of the camera, it should be way better than it is. But with that being said, I still thought that this was a solid film, but I could see how someone would be very disappointed. I wasn't super disappointed because I heard the bad reviews before I went in, so I enjoyed it, but it's a movie I wish I could put higher. And coming in fifth place, we have A Million Miles Away. I thought this movie was very, very good about like the first Hispanic astronaut. And I just thought it was just very inspiring. It's just about this guy who just is so determined to become an astronaut. And it's just a very upbeat, kind of like, not necessarily rags to riches, but like, well, in a way, I mean, kind of, because he was just a humble corn farmer, and then he gets to go to space. Like, I thought that it's just so cool, and we're seeing, I mean, Michael Pena is fantastic, and we're seeing how, like, all the challenges he has to overcome, all the obstacles that are in his way, and it's just, and, like, how whenever he goes in the space station, they think he's a janitor, and so it's got that little bit of humor as well, but it's really just a movie where you watch and you're like, you know what, that felt good, that was great, and yeah, I thought this was a pleasant surprise. And coming in at fourth place, we have The Burial. This is based on a true story where this funeral home director is being sued, and he hires a lawyer to get him out. Like, and Jamie Foxx is great in this, as well as Tommy Lee Jones. The performances are incredible. And Jamie Foxx in particular, like the way his performance is, he's so determined to like help this guy. Like, something about it is just so infectious about the way his personality is. He's just like so like, he's like, you don't want to know why I win? Because I hate to lose. Like, I don't know what it is, but something about this movie just, it was very charming. And just, of course, you feel bad for Tommy Lee Jones' character. Because, I mean, yeah, he's an old man. He wants something to leave behind for his grandchildren. And you're rooting for Jamie Foxx and for Tommy Lee Jones. And it's just a really good, you know, upbeat story. And it was just it was a lot better than I thought it would be. Yeah, I thought it was very, very good. And coming in third place, we have Air. And this was also one of my most surprising movies of the year, because I do not care about basketball at all. I don't care about sports. But somehow, I don't know what it was, but Ben Affleck managed to direct a movie about not only a sport I don't care about, but the business behind a shoe that I don't even care about or wear. And he made it very, very interesting and funny and dramatic. And this is just a movie that, like I said, one of my most surprising movies of the year, where it's another kind of like, you know, upbeat movie where, I mean, like, of course, and how Nike becomes this billion-dollar corporation. And it's just a really fun movie to watch. And it's really, a lot of it is just them, like, it's just Matt Damon on the phone, and then him talking with Ben Affleck, and Viola Davis is Michael Jordan's mom, gives an excellent performance as well. And it's just a movie that is just a ton of fun to watch. And it's just cool. Like, seeing a story about a shoe, I never thought it would be as good as it was, but here I am talking about it. But yeah, this movie was fantastic and way better than I thought it would be. And coming in second place, we have Oppenheimer. I mean, many people have been saying this is the best movie of the year. I think it's one of them. And I can definitely see why. I mean, the performance is excellent. The cinematography, gorgeous. 3 hours goes by like that. It's a movie that does not feel 3 hours. And it's a movie that almost makes you leave feeling, I felt more scared during this movie than I did watching all the horror movies I watched this year. Because it just leaves you with that sense of dread of like what this weapon is. And this person of just how interesting he is. It's just fantastic movie. I was great. And coming in number one, it's Killers of the Flower Moon, easily. I mean, this is a movie that just makes you sick. But at the same time, you can't keep your eyes off it, based on these real murders in 1920s Oklahoma and the foundation of the FBI. And it's a movie where, like, the fact you're watching, like, this can't be real, but it is. And it just shows just this horror, but also has this beautiful, tragic love story. It's just fantastic. Like I said, this is the best movie, my favorite movie of the year, and the best biopic of the year.